Frightened by a barking dog, Farrow, a human, scrambles up a tree. Urko, a young chimpanzee, calls off the dog. What is he to fear from a mere human? Suddenly, a blast of wind, a roar, then a crash. Farrow looks in wonderment. Urko turns and runs back to Chelo, his village, to report the strangeness to his father. Cautiously, Farrow emerges from the woods and creeps toward the giant, bullet-like object. He finds a lever and pulls. A section lifts away. Strapped in contour seats, three humans sit slumped over, Jones, Burton, and Burke. Jones was dead. Farrow turns to Burton and Burke. They are alive. Carefully, Farrow removes the two survivors. Then hoof beats. Only the apes rode horses. It must be a search party from Chelo. Farrow had just pulled the survivors into an old shelter when Beska and Arno rode up with three gorillas. A human. There were two others, cries Beska. Meanwhile, in the shelter, Burton and Burke regain consciousness. Suddenly, Burton conceals himself beside the door, almost attacking Farrow, who enters offering fresh fruit. Disturbed by news of the spaceship, Zeus recalls an earlier ship and his recurring nightmare of fantastic humans who built complex machinery designed for destruction. Zeus is determined to know the thoughts of these newly arrived astronauts. He orders they be kept alive, for the moment. Farrow explains that humans hold no status, except in an old book he's found. The apes control the planet. The astronauts realize they've gone through a time warp. Desperate to check their chronometer, Farrow leads the astronauts to their spaceship. Farrow vainly attempts to distract an armed guerrilla guard, and is shot. The astronauts are led away. Farrow is left to die. Burke's protests are ignored by Urko. Unobserved, Galen discovers Farrow's book. Before the council, Burton states his belief that all creatures are equal and should live in peace. But Urko insists the astronauts be put to death. Urko detonates a grenade he's stolen from Zeus. Would an ape go such a thing, he demands. Zeus orders a deeper probing of the astronauts' minds. Troubled by Farrow's book, Galen visits the astronauts and learns of a world beyond his imagination. Burton asks Galen to help him escape. Galen refuses. That night, after the guard had issued their food, the astronauts discover